This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For multiple decades, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. It is Luke Skywalker Friday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after reviewing the 7 Enlightenment factors. Or perhaps I should say, after reviewing the meditation instructions through the lens of the 7 Enlightenment factors. The first enlightenment factor is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not concentration. Concentration uses the front part of our brain, specifically the medial prefrontal cortex, to actively, rigidly concentrate. However, mindfulness uses the middle bit of the spinal cord to notice perceptions, motions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. The second enlightenment factor is investigation. Investigation, I prefer to translate investigation as freedom from defensiveness, freedom from the effort of trying to be our own press agents. And so during our inhalation, or when we're watching, we're doing so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleeting. What are we watching? All manner of phenomena, whatever comes up, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. The fourth enlightenment factor is joyful love. You see, we mentioned, well, when people rely upon the front of their brain to actively concentrate, it triggers their amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, which is no bueno. However, when we rely upon the middle bit, when we rely upon the autonomic nervous system, not only does it calm that anxiety and aggression, but it also stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, the root of joy. The third enlightenment factor is energy. The more we sit and breathe, the more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds flow, not from contrived calculations nor wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is the energy we want to rely on, not the energy of being erratic, not the energy of a death march, but the energy of deeply centered spontaneity. Good evening. Let's take a look at the sixth enlightenment factor, known as coalescence. As our air coalesces within our respiratory system during our inhalation, our perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings coalesce within our sympathetic nervous system, which can be whose core can be found in the middle bit of our spinal cord. The fifth enlightenment factor is tranquility. Every time we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, in such a way that we physically relax and mentally release in harmony. Well, let me jump back for a second. Let's try this again. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access both the tippy top and the very bottom of our spinal cord, which function as the core of the parasympathetic nervous system that causes us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel a trifle less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast, empty void, like the sky. The seventh enlightenment factor is equanimity. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever beauty or ugliness we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just sights. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of sensation or emotion. Let's look at it from another point of view. Remedial equanimity. No matter what happens, no matter whether we experience the external or the internal, the physical or the mental, the pleasurable or the painful, the interesting or the boring, the glorious or the grotesque, the remedy is exactly the same. As we breathe in, we watch, and as we exhale, we rest. Now, doing that does not cause things to change. It helps us to cope with what's going on. The last thing we want to do is construct for ourselves a gilded cage where we can only be happy when everything is just so. That makes of us a prisoner, does it not? The key to being able to cope with whatever life gives us is to cooperate with our autonomic nervous system in such a way that we watch and rest, and as such become the loving person, the loving and peaceful person that our dog already thinks we are. Having completed our review, let's switch gears and now practice the mindfulness and meditation of the clarity and letting go that function as a carrier wave of liberation's peace. Let us treat our nostrils the way a piano student treats a metronome, merely holding it in passive peripheral awareness. As we passively notice air entering our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we passively notice air exiting our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb rest. The moment you have a specific question about the philosophies and techniques that support mindfulness meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 13 minutes or so. Let's switch gears and practice the mindfulness and meditation of bliss and letting go. As we passively notice our chest swell with breath, let us silently and mentally recite the verb feel. As we passively notice the subtle sinking of our chest as gently we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite the verb rest. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 11 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn practice of Meditate Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.